I wouldn't be playing the music I am now. I wouldn't have had the exposure to it. I mean, in my heart, I'm a musician. I'd be playing something.
Right.
But no, nothing would be the same.
That's what I'm saying. Would the venues be the same? I mean, I interviewed
the whole look and feel of the thing would be completely different. You know, there wouldn't be this whole group of people that people define themselves. Here's me being a philosopher, which I'm not. People define themselves by the art that interests them and that moves them. They define themselves by the music they listen to. When you were in high school, just like me, if you liked a rock group and you found out that some of your pals in the schoolyard liked the rock group, that kind of made a group out of you.
Sure.
That made a connection for you. And adults do the same thing. You know, whatever style of music, whatever particular thing in modern culture reaches the point of being kind of in everybody's mind, you know. I'm not saying this will. When something becomes acceptable, it also can become cool.
Yeah.
And we use those kind of cool things to kind of uplift ourselves. I mean, that's part of what art is about.
Right.
Same way when I play fiddle tune for somebody, I want them to be kind of with me in the sense of the music. I want them to be feeling the same kind of joy that I'm feeling. That's what that's about. So if there hadn't been a folk scare of the 60s, there'd have been something else to fill the gap.
Sure.
You know, we'd probably all be doing that. I don't know what it would be.
Right. But you still see vestiges, or more than vestiges, of that folk scare in the venues you play and the people that book you?
Absolutely. A lot of it's because these clubs haven't been able to afford to renovate since the 60s.
That's right.
A lot of it is the architecture of the place. You know, it could use a paint job.
I once read a description of Dave Van Ront's apartment, and the writer felt compelled to say, dust that must be from the 60s.
It's true, man.
Why'd you name your record Poor Man's Troubles?
Well, it's the name of fiddle tune.
I saw that. But I suspected you named it Poor Man's Troubles for other reasons beyond this instrumental tune.
It was a very difficult thing for me to... Well, it was easy for me to name the record Poor Man's Troubles, but it was not without thinking of what people would think of it.
Okay.
Because I'm not a poor person.
Okay.
I grew up as a middle-class kid, and I made my own way. But the music that I play is music of people that a lot of them were poor. And poor people in this country are people of whom I have personal interest because of my own politics, if you will. And all those things kind of tied together for me. There's a personal statement for me. I mean, I've always been kind of wondering if anybody out there saying, who the hell does he think he is naming it? He drives an Acura, for Christ's sakes. Uh-huh. But that's not what that's about at all. That's partially me just paying tribute to a style of music that was built around poor people. You know.
What do you think was built around poor people?
It was built around their culture, their particular rural need to survive. You know, we named it, hoedown. Hoedown's a great word. People work all week long, and at the end of the week they finally have the opportunity to put their hoe down and go cut loose a little bit. You know, and it's a very stark kind of reality, or my romantic notion of it is a very stark reality.
Sure.
You know, of you work hard and you play hard.
And what I get then is a visceral connection you feel just to those who don't have as much as others in society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can connect that to the folk scare of the 60s as much
Sure.
as you want to.
And I'm wondering, I go around and I talk to a lot of people who are playing music today, some of whom are directly connected with those older days, but many of whom are not. And I try and I always try and discern how, to what extent they've incorporated into yourself or just have from whatever sources the same values that were exemplified by the 60s ethos of the folk scare. I mean, what take do you get on that? Do you find that the people you come in contact with as you play out and go around the country and are involved in the folk music world, some people say to me, I don't think anything at all of politics, I don't think anything at all of class consciousness, I just like the music, that's why I play it. Other people will say types of things that you said. What do you see?
I see a little bit of everything. I think people play music and do what they do for any number of reasons. Anywhere from just being moved by something to making a social statement, to vanity. I mean, it's anything you can think of as a possible reason to play music. There's somebody out there doing it for that reason. It's not that cut and dried. And I see a lot of different kind of motivations, or that I think that people have for doing it.
So the connection's still there among some people, but lots of people play old-time music without any interest in class consciousness or...
Yeah, I think that's true. In fact, if you might even take it a step further than that, different people have different senses of class consciousness. Some people in the South that play old-time music are interested in their roots, which is not the same thing as people in the North that play old-time music that see the social strata a certain way. I'm not saying this very well, but I know you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. What do you see as you've only been with Rounder for 4 or 5 years now, but what are your thoughts about how that company is developing? It's the Primo Roots label now. It's got its 30th anniversary.
Yes, you can bite the hand that feeds me.
Yeah, I can tell me whatever you want, or tell me some things on tape and other things off tape if you want to. You're a little more savvy now than you were then.
I think Rounder is it started off as best I can tell, as a labor of love, and it's become a business, and it's succumbed to or embraced the business world that it has to live in order to survive. And I like a lot of what they're doing. I don't like some other things that I see going on, like union shop stewards getting fired by a group of people that were as left as I am. Right. Doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Right.
But I think Rounder is a business, and I'm afraid to say that it's going to take businesses like that to keep trad music and traditional culture in the public eye.
Right.
Because it can't exist in a vacuum, and in order to do that, they have to strike agreements with Universal Records and do whatever the hell they're doing and be out there.
Does it make a difference to you at this stage of your career? You've got this network that you've cultivated over the years. You can play 200 gigs a year. You've plugged yourself in. You go in and you make your own records, and you know how to do it better than you used to. And you sell most of them off the bandstand. Do you need a Rounder anymore as you felt you did in 1995?
Absolutely.
Really? And why?
Because Rounder, first of all, there's, I am trying to get hired by venues, and being able to say that I'm a Rounder artist is a very helpful business thing to be able to do.
Okay.
Rounder does a really good job of promotion at the outset of the release of the CD.
Okay. They
have a really good database of radio stations and media, and they do a big mailing.
Okay.
And people know who you are before you hit town, and that's something that I would have to do myself. Somebody has to do that.
Right.
When you promote a new recording, you have to see that all the radio stations get it, and so you have to have a current listing of who the DJs are this year, and what shows are still on the air, and all that kind of. It's a tremendous amount of work to get stuff in.
Right.
So plus say what you want. I mean, the fellows at Rounder talk about the Rounder family, and then other people kind of sniff about that disparagingly. But nice to be part of a successful organization. I don't have any problem with that. It's not like they represent all the worst traits of capitalist America.
Right.
They're a record company.
Right.
It's nice to be part of a successful business.
Right.
I got no problem with that at all.
Okay. I think we can turn this off.
Okay.
You've got